guys. This is Troy from Cape Ann Conversations, and today I've got Courtney with me from Bridge Educational Engineering. Courtney, say hi to everybody and give us a little background on what the company is and how you got your start.
What a pleasure, Troy. Thank you. Big fan of Cape Ann, big fan of these conversations. Yes, I run Bridge Educational Engineering. We prepare whole school communities with the skills and supports to partner, parent, teach, learn, lead, all the good stuff. I got started because I wanted to start something local. So Bridge is in Manchester by the Sea, and I quickly, actually one of the first things I did as an LLC, I joined the Greater Cape Ann Chamber of Commerce and just rubbed shoulders with all these brilliant minds who love Cape Ann and love healthy community. But I started Bridge here to really partner with schools and organizations around building mental health programming, building health promoting and social emotional learning programming. It's rich, it promotes satisfaction, it promotes good learning, good living, and whole communities. So yeah, I'm happy to be here and chat about it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, this is a pleasure. So when did you get started with this particular business? What did you do prior to starting this company? How long have you been at this?
I'm young. I'm 1 year old.
Perfect.
I just had my first birthday.
I love it.
Before this, I've been in the business of education, special education, and mental health education programming for almost 20 years. Some private schools in the greater Boston area where I've worked in both K through 12 and higher education. And I've kind of taken a compilation of all of those experiences, designing programming for students, staff, faculty in schools, but also like organizations, families, this kind of thing, and meld it all together. What if it lives under one roof? And that's Bridge. It's bringing a whole community, bridging it to its goals and kind of developing its educational experiences, excellence, and equity.
Tell me a little bit about who you work with, because it's not just for schools. It's a lot of businesses can use this as well.
Yeah, anyone.
Anyone could use this. Anyone could take a break from their day and just do a little bit more like bettering themselves and bettering their relationships with people.
That's it. That's exactly it. So, and for that reason, and because I like the idea of all these different layers of community, I do predominantly work with schools.
Yeah.
Training, I got in the fall some keynotes coming up, some trainings coming up, but I also have programming that I release directly to the community, mostly around, you know what I'm really into? Partnerships. Like really how you partner with people in your life. And these core skills are super effective in education, even though they're not always used. But they're super effective at home, in relationships with community members or, family, partners, friends. It's transferable skills.
How are you releasing the content or the work? Like, how does somebody actually engage with you to go through this program? How long is a program? How do these engagements with you, whether it be a school or a business or something less structured, typically work?
This is my favorite answer. Whatever they want, whatever that looks like. For some organizations that I partner with, it's an ongoing relationship. So maybe like I'm contracted for a full year. They'll reach out and say, we've got these goals. We like your idea of 360 programming, but strategically, let's start like right here with some like keynote and trainings for staff. Then they realize like, oh, that was good. That's what we want. We want you. Can you do that for families? That was good. Can we do that for students? So it really is like an ongoing partnership, a partnership or relationship. That's my favorite. But also, some organizations will say, we just need this course designed, or we just need, let's say some of the Partner Up accelerators that I host, they're just 4 weeks. It's a quick, here's some skills. Now go do it,
Practice it.
Practice it. Yeah, exactly. So it's any shape and size, and I really like that. It reminds me of like going to the restaurant and you have a menu. What am I hungry for? And what do I have the resources for when I think of schools and organizations? It's any shape and size.
Where are the organizations that you're typically working with? I know you got your start here on Cape Ann, but I'm imagining you can deliver this anywhere.
That's what happened. Yeah. Yeah.
Really quickly.
I love being in the community and I love being in person. There's like nothing replacing that for me, really, if I'm honest. So much of the work's here in Cape Ann. And then it kind of quickly became like, all right, yeah, I'll drive out there, so Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Rhode Island. But I do have some partners. Some of this work really is navigable and effective, like through streaming or, video conferencing. So we make it work remotely.
Do you have like a course? I could see this in like an online like course that if somebody onboarded a new employee, they could almost put them through this, or a new teacher, or a new anything. Or you could give it to a whole family. Like therapists could give it to people and be like, you could create an online course.
Troy, you're hired. Yes. Yeah. I'm understanding as a new like solopreneur businesswoman, what does it mean to make money? What's this other part of being a business person? I love my work, so I forget about that part a lot, but I love that idea of having what the work we do, the content that's part of the Partner Up Accelerator while that's in person and live. Why can't we package it in different forms so it's accessible in different ways, like in the form of a course, enroll, and it's self-paced.
Yeah.
All right, you're hired.
It's online.
Done.
You can deliver it to many countries. All right, we figured out it's phase 2. So what's going on today? Like who are you working with? How are you working with this community? Are there any partnerships that we should call out or explain to the listeners so they can put themselves in the shoes of what you're doing and how they could use you?
Yeah, I'm always leaving this area of my work, of kind of like hours in the week dedicated to schools. This is something that I want to make sure is happening. It's my mission. It's really close to my heart. I'm also saying yes to other things. Someone calls and like, hey, what do you think about? So I'll give you an example. There are 2 local holistic yoga instructor and like health advocates who are just really cool. And we had a cup of coffee and they're like, hey, what about like some a Sunday self-care for women? And we just bring people together. Courtney, you cover the relationships end of this and partnership skills and this kind of thing, but we'll also weave in good eating and yoga. And so we'll roll out in September. You can see on my social media and website, we're rolling out a SelfCare Sunday for women.
Do you have stats on like where is this? Can you tell us? Can you release it right now? Am I putting you on the spot?
What am I releasing?
Like the location?
Oh!
Is anybody allowed to come? Who just obviously just women, but
Yeah, it's at the Salty Buddha.
okay. Sundays.
On Sundays.
Do we have a hard time yet?
We do. We do. You are good. I'm gonna find the date on my calendar.
I'm gonna update this
Yeah.
with the details. So check the show notes for links. If people are interested, where is the Salty Buddha?
The Salty Buddha in Danvers location.
In Danvers. Okay. Perfect. And
Oh my gosh, it's going to be great. A couple of hours in community with the idea is to like introduce women to a battery of tools that they can take and leave and try and practice to invite whole, healthy living. But that's one example of things I say yes to. There's a great, there's some things coming down the pike for sure within the Greater Cape Ann Chamber of Commerce. I am the co-chair to the Social Emotional Learning and Mental Health Subcommittee. We're going to have some great opportunities connecting businesses with schools for the purpose of promoting youth health in our community. So we're going to have some great things rolling out there. I do have a new Partner Up. Bridge is hosting a Partner Up Accelerator this fall for families. So, parents and caregivers of youth going to school. September's back to school. What happens there? The kids are trying on new language, new peers, new activities. The learning that happens impacts family dynamics. So how are we supporting the parents, guardians, and caregivers to be on board with those, and move with with where their youth is going and partner with them for strong families? And I was thinking about a challenge too, a 30-day challenge.
why not? It only takes 21 days to make a habit.
There you go.
Why not try it? I did that with cold baths for 30 days. I ended up taking a cold shower for 2.5 years straight.
What?
All you have to do is do it for 21 days, and you can try to break a habit to start a new habit. A challenge is a great way to do it.
You start seeing the impact, and then you're in. You forget about it. It's habitual.
That's right. I have a question for you. It seems like the terminology, social emotional, is almost like a new term, or it's a new awareness or something. Where do you think that this is like stemmed from? It didn't stem from like our baby boomer parents didn't necessarily talk with the terminology social emotional well-being.
No way. No
Not
way. They still don't, right?
They
Here's what I say when I'm
and they're
talking.
listening to this. And they're going,
They're-
okay.
When you hear SEL, you could replace it with life skills.
Yeah.
Like, what do you need to be to feel and be productive in your daily life? You need good problem-solving skills, communication skills. Some call it emotional intelligence, but I think career readiness skills could be like another tagline for it.
Yeah.
I think we've called it something different, but these are core skills that help us when we have them and we practice them. They help us feel satisfied in our roles and be productive in our roles. And by roles, I mean like parent, family member, worker, student, all these different roles that we have, partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's one that's going through my head too. It's because you could see like a business owner going, I can't do this for my crew, or I don't want to do this for my crew, or whatever excuse you're making in your brain about why you could or wouldn't do this. You can also just do this for yourself, because as a leader, you need to have the social, emotional awareness to be able to communicate effectively with your team, because they're always going to test your patience. There's always going to be somebody in your life that tests your patience or does something in a different way than you do, and you need to be able to effectively work with them and communicate with them. And if you're a leader of people, I mean, your job is to make those skills strong, because you're going to need a team around you to be successful. And what better thing to focus on?
I couldn't agree more. It doesn't need to be a school leadership, for example. It's any organizational leader wants these skills. And oftentimes where we feel the most friction in our employee or collegial relationships is when those skills are lacking. And sometimes we dig our heels in even more, and resist even more, which can further kind of like intensify or exacerbate a challenge that's going on within an organization. The partnership piece to all of this programming, I think that's what you're saying. It really is about these are soft skills, soft vocational skills, or career skills. It's what a leader wants. Yeah.
So if somebody is social emotionally curious, let's say somebody listening to this right now is kind of thinking in their head like, man, I could do a better job sort of getting our whole team, whether it be our work team, our family team, or whatever you're thinking out there, listener, how you could just do a little bit better job communicating with each other, or working together more collegially, or having a better family dynamic. If somebody's social emotionally curious, let's call it, because I'm loving that term. What would they do to like get a hold of you? Where like you've got your website. It's a long but abbreviated website. Give us it. Because it's Bridge Educational Engineering is the company name.
Yes.
This is Courtney with us, by the way, everybody.
Hi.
Where do they find you? How do they get in touch with you? How would they learn about how they could work with you?
Yeah, the website's a great place. I'm on LinkedIn for social media, and I'm a big proponent of the phone. Pick up the phone.
Give us a phone number live right now.
617-459-7644.
And if someone calls up, Courtney's answering.
Or text. Hey, I am socially, emotionally curious. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
I'm SEL curious. I really, and what this might mean for someone, just to kind of like concretize this, it would be like, I feel like I always respond with not the right thing. Later on, I'm like, oh, I should have said that.
Yeah.
Or I never give it a beat. I'm really stuck with like how I can build in a pause. or like I just need a moment to think before I respond. I guess our reality as humans is we need practice with that. And there are very few platforms to practice, right? We practice live because we go out in the communities, we go to work, and that's our kind of like, I'm using air quotes, like learning on the job. We try it out there. But it's nice to have new language. It's nice to have new tools where you feel empowered and you feel supportive and frankly you're communicating in ways that probably align with your true values, you know,
Yeah.
of appreciating community and otherness and diversity and promoting educational equity. All these things happen when we have the language for it and the tools for it. Gotta practice them. Let's
Yeah.
practice
You can't
together.
just go through the motions.
Yeah.
Going through the motions, it's got you where you are, people. You know, but it's not getting you where you're trying to go.
That's
You know what I'm saying?
I hear you. Yes.
Hey, Courtney, it was a pleasure to have you on here. I appreciate your time. I appreciate what you're doing for our community.
Troy, thank you so much. I mean, this is really great. I really enjoyed our time. I'm going to come back again. I'll keep you updated on what's going on. I'll get you some dates on some of the program we talked about. And I'll come back soon.
Yeah, and
Okay.
we'll tell people more about some of the events and the partnerships you're running with the chamber
Okay.
and whatnot
Yeah.
to get people exposure to it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.